tremendous. You're going to do a tremendous job on the show today.
You know what? I really appreciate the support, John.
It's
Murray.
all about positive reinforcement with me.
With you or with me?
No, with me. Like, it's like, hey, Kelly, you're great.
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, John Murray. So I have to do another show in 47 minutes.
I was
Are you ready?
5 minutes ago, man.
You were not. You had this stupid ring light on and like you're all blurry.
I was ready 3.5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, great.
All right, go ahead. Go.
Okay, so how much money did you guys make or win this weekend? We're going to talk about Colorado. What else are we doing today? I don't have my parlay ready, so everybody's going to be very angry at me.
How can we do the show without the hottie threesome?
Right now, it's the hottie sixsome. Maybe they're more into that kind of thing.
They might be.
I have a lot more work to do in terms of like picking better because last week I had some nice little trophies. Those were fun.
Yeah.
This trophy is such a cheap piece of crap. It doesn't even have a placard that I could engrave CLV on. Thank you, Amazon. Appreciate you for that one. But all jokes aside, North Texas, excruciatingly painful. I had like 1.5, 2 points of CLV somewhere, depending on where it closed with our good friends.
Points? It was about 30 points.
Shut up. Yeah, they got killed. So did South Alabama. And then
South Alabama.
Toledo gave up a 4th and 4 and let Illinois get in field goal range. And Brett Bielema just ran out the clock just so casually. Just decided, we're just going to kick a little field goal. He must have a lot of faith, a lot more than I would have had. Anyway, and of course, then I lose. Toledo.
So you lost all 3 of them?
On the money line, yes. And I went 1 and 2 against
Did you play the 3 games straight up on the money line?
Yeah, so I lost those as well.
Oh, jeez. Dude,
but that's okay. That's okay. Those are like little baby sprinkles.
You were remarkably restrained last weekend. I don't even think you texted me once on Saturday to cry about some stupid game that I wasn't even watching. That's very unusual for you.
You know, I did cry that I didn't have Wyoming on the money line. That made me cry a lot. And
good
also hurt my Texas Tech future.
We did not do good in the morning. Colorado, they beat TCU. When I first got to work on Saturday, I was in the control room and I said, like, what are we rooting against? What do we not need? One of the kids like, we don't want Colorado to beat TCU. And I was like, shut up. Like Colorado can't beat TCU. Don't worry about that. We lost on that game.
So you're the mush, basically, or he's the mush, or whoever.
I had no idea how good Sanders' kid was.
Well, when you play against a team that doesn't play defense, anybody's good.
He looked pretty good. So
are you ready to give him the Heisman?
Yards. No, I'm not ready to give him the Heisman Trophy. The Heisman Trophy is going to Gonzaga high school graduate Caleb Williams of USC. But no, I thought he looked really good. They got really explosive players on the outside. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but that was a hell of a win. TCU, they're a well-coached team. I know they lost a lot from last year, but we can't just dismiss that win. That was pretty impressive.
I'm not trying to dismiss it. I mean, I also have TCU under 7.5 wins. They lost a ton of guys. I think Sonny Dykes really overachieved in his first year. And all this stuff is easy to say in hindsight, but I said it before. So there's that.
Let's talk about Penn State had a late cover against West Virginia.
No, I don't want to talk about that. Nope. We're just going to keep on.
I had to block Steve Thurston's number because we had a side bet on it, and
I almost blocked Steve Thurston after that.
Really? What the hell was that? They scored a touchdown with 6 seconds left.
I'm sitting there with my dad. I had just walked in his house. I got off work around noon. Drove it to my dad's house. Walked in, watched the second half of the TCU game with Colorado, and we were kind of flipping back and forth trying to decide what we wanted to watch. And I was in the group chat. I was like, you know what? I like West Virginia here. And of course, they punch it in. Not even a minute left. Nice backdoor cover, just like I drew it up. Yeah, there were some things
that sucked. We did not do well in that game. Overall, we had a good day on Saturday, though. We did pretty well Saturday. Sunday.
What was the biggest?
Let's talk about this game. Houston beating Texas San Antonio.
Wow.
Everybody had Texas San Antonio. They were a small favorite on the road at Houston. Dana Holgerson got the win there for Houston. Terrible job by the officials. at the end of that game. I don't know if you
against
saw any of
Dana this
that.
week, I think I have to take
that was a
right.
great game for us.
Good.
But Sunday night, Florida State looked great. They crushed LSU. What in the world was Clemson doing on Monday night?
Okay, let's back up to
hell was
Sunday. I was
All right,
in bed. I'm watching the second half of the game on my iPad. Me and Coco are just hanging out, getting ready for Monday, kind of doing our nighttime routine. And I'm going, all right, the under is trending towards the under. I know some guys that even had under like 62.5 in game.
Mhm.
I don't know if I can ever forgive Mike Norvell for that. Like, that was a hatred statement. That was like,
You feel that strongly about one
they didn't
college
even
football
score.
game under?
Take a knee. You already won the game. You know Brian Kelly's not going to use any timeouts. Just like Bill Snyder would never. Nick Saban doesn't even behave that way.
Urban Meyer would have done it.
Yeah, he would have. And you're right. And look where Urban's at now.
Well, be that as it may, that game, we needed that game to stay under. I think I mentioned that on the show last week. It did not.
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way.
Clemson on Monday night, terrible job by their coaching staff, terrible play calling, terrible execution. I really thought Clemson was going to be much improved this season. And I didn't even feel like Duke did really anything on Monday night. Clemson was awful.
They had a couple of moments where I was a little surprised by Duke. I mean, obviously, Duke was improved last season. But yeah, I think everybody was quick to point the finger at DJ and thought he was the problem with that Clemson offense, new offensive coordinator. Yeah, DJ's not the problem.
Well, obviously not. And I still think Cade Klubnik is a good player, but they didn't try anything. All they would do is just quick snap, throw to the sideline. Quick snap, throw to the sideline. They never tried to throw the ball down the field. Their execution in the red zone really cost them. Going to be interesting to see them. They play at Florida State at the end of this month. No, they host Florida State.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to be the game, basically with the ACC on the line. Maybe it's a buy low spot.
I still think it will be. Let's not
do.
overreact too much to one game. I'm not going to write Clemson off entirely. They should have won that game pretty easily. They're fumbling the ball inside the 5-yard line, and they're having field goals blocked. I mean, that was a terrible performance for Clemson. I don't want to write them off too soon. You want to do week 2? You want to take me through what you like in week 2, and I'll tell you what I'm seeing for week 2?
I have a very long list for week 2. So Sunday night, I had a fantasy draft.
Boring.
Which I did nothing for because I have teammates who do all that stuff. And they drafted entirely too many Lions players. So when the openers were coming out, I was sitting there doing some handicapping work because, drafts should take like 90 minutes max. And it always seems to take 3 hours because we give people entirely too much time to try to pick through the rubble at the bottom.
I don't play fantasy football. The audience should know that. So
I don't want to play fantasy football.
I can't relate to this conversation. I don't play fantasy football.
For the first Thursday night game, I know we're not talking NFL yet, but I have 8 Lions players. Yeah. I didn't ask for that.
How many leagues are you in?
Just one. I only do the one big
money
league.
You have 8 players from the same team.
No, I'm kidding. I think I have 4 Lions players.
Oh, that's one of those exaggerations. Okay.
It doesn't matter. The point is I have entirely, for me not being very high on the Lions this year, we have entirely too many Lions players. Okay. So
why did I ask you what you like in week 2? You spent a minute talking about your fantasy football team. Let's go.
NC State, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, Rice are going to be the ones in contention. I want to make a case for San Diego State. They're on my long list. I don't know if they can beat UCLA, but they are on my long list to really decide. So that's kind of the 5th one, if you will. And then I basically have decided that Texas State's going to be a square dog as well as Tulane.
Texas State, great win over Baylor on Saturday. We talked about Nebraska, or we talked about Colorado. Colorado's hosting Nebraska. That's the big game on Saturday morning. I never would have believed that a few weeks ago.
Of course it's going to be the biggest game. I saw some other way more famous bookmaker than you tweet something about the handle on that game was going to be more than most of the NFL. Are you guys seeing the same thing at Superbook?
I don't know about that. More than the NFL games?
Well, not in total, but a crappy 1 p.m. Eastern NFL game, like, I don't know, like Titans Saints or something that nobody
No, I
cares
can see
about.
that. I can see it out handling some NFL games. We also have the Superbook open in Colorado, where that game should be very popular.
Oh yeah, you guys
Tickets
are
are
going to be
about
really needing.
we're about 5-1 tickets on Colorado right now. That's not
That's
surprising.
it.
Yeah,
Oh, I would
well,
have thought way higher.
there's gonna be a lot more recreational money coming this weekend. You know, we are recording this on Wednesday when it's mostly the sharper players.
So would
We'll
you say
see what
this
it
is a
looks like.
sharp square game, or it's just
No, I wouldn't.
not quite?
I wouldn't say I've seen anything from any of our sharp customers yet on that game.
Yeah, I got a text from buddies immediately. We have to bet Nebraska. I go, you guys, I'm not betting Nebraska. I watched this
Do
team.
you hate Matt Rule?
No, not at all. This is
Okay.
my problem. So remind me, did you guys put this out over the summer or no? Did you guys have
Yeah, no, we did.
-7?
Yeah, and obviously Nebraska was a big favorite. I mean, yeah, if you want to, but you don't want to. You don't want to be too slavish to those numbers. You've got to be willing to pivot quickly.
We also have to be realistic. Okay, let's just say that Colorado was, they were a 20.5-point underdog in Fort Worth. Let's just say they lost by 10. You guys would have maybe made the game 6, Nebraska -6. Let's say Nebraska also beat Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of
missing that field goal. It's an overreaction. All I'm saying is don't look at an overreaction from a college football game of the year line and act like that's the same thing as an overreaction to an NFL line week to week. That's not the same. That college football game of the year market is not that strong.
Okay, that's fair.
I do think it's an overreaction line. I don't know what to make of Nebraska right now, but Colorado has shown that they're very explosive offensively. Colorado's a 3-point favorite in that game because the books know everyone's going to bet on Colorado.
Yeah, and so if you're in the great state of Colorado, you download the Superbook Sports app and use promo code KIV23. You guys are welcome. Thank you very much.
Are we already doing the promo code shtick? I didn't know.
No, I'm just giving out my promo code.
Your promo code. Let's do Texas A&M at Miami. That line, we had A&M a 5-point favorite on the road. We're down to 4.5. We had some sharp money on the U in that game. That's an interesting game because both those teams had big expectations last year. They played in College Station. It was a terrible game. A&M did win that game. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this season. Now, the big game for Saturday is supposed to be in Tuscaloosa, Texas at Alabama. I'm going to let Kelly have the stage here because she loves the Longhorns. She's always on the Longhorns. Kelly, go ahead.
I want to be on the Longhorns. They made a very long list of mine at 7.5, but pretty much those are gone.
If you want to be on them, just be on them. It's a free country.
I'm just going to pass. It is a free country, so I'm just going to pass. Listen, I don't think that there's a ton of value on each side. Speaking of college football games of the year, I believe you guys had this one at 7 or 7.5 as well. So there's not a ton of value here from one side or another. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever to see Texas go in there and win this game. I was not impressed with either one of these teams last week. I ended up on Rice like last minute. I do a show on Saturday mornings on WagerTalk. One of the guys said something and I opened up the odds screen. I'm like, 36? Like this one opened at 30.5 and now it's 36. And you got JT Daniels, John Murray's favorite, guy.
You're talking about the Texas Rice game? Who gives a shit about that?
I'm just saying, maybe they were looking ahead, right? Maybe Alabama was too. Both teams didn't show me enough to warrant a wager.
You're living in the past, kid. I'm moving forward. Sharp money week 2. We saw sharp money on UCF. They're at Boise.
Okay,
we saw sharp money on Wisconsin. They're at Washington State. And this one, we got hit a few times on this. They took the points. Vanderbilt at Wake Forest. So Vandy, that number's been bet down to 10 here at the Superbook. Could they be in the hottie threesome?
You know what? You're the second person to ask me about them today, and I need to look at them further. So I wrote them down on my list, but they probably won't be in my parlay because otherwise people are just going to say I got it from you.
You always have a really long list. How do you call down the long list? What's the process like there?
I just start scratching teams out.
Yeah.
So so far I've already scratched out Cal +7.
Cal.
Yeah. And
Well, look,
I scratched out Tulane pretty much.
Unless you want to give me any more insight on college football, I think we should move this right along and go to your league.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. Are you just gonna completely forget to give out your promo code? You don't even care?
No, I'm waiting for
we're
the
supposed to have a contest here Whoever gets the most downloads.
Yeah, but what do I win? Like, what are we playing for?
I don't know. I was going to let you set the stakes.
So your promo code is KIV23. Is that a LeBron James reference? What is that?
No, I think the year is 2023. So.
Oh, it's just for this year. I wasn't sure. I thought
like
maybe
next
it was
year
like
is probably going to be KIV24, but I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
Well, I know how much you like LeBron James, so I thought maybe that's what that was.
I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm not a LeBron liker. I like Michael Jordan more.
I've got some
if
text
you're asking me who the GOAT is.
I have some text messages that would go the other way there.
I think he actually reads the books he pretends to read. Doesn't mean I'm a LeBron hater.
So you don't think LeBron James can read?
That is not what I said.
Well, either way.
I think he tries to pretend to read things that he clearly has not read.
My promo code is Murray. MURRAY. It's my last name.
You had to spell that for everybody.
Yeah. And if you want to sign up and use my promo code, I would really like to beat Kelly in this thing. It sounds like it's gonna involve our dogs somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do that to Coco. She's not doing the hottest, and she doesn't deserve to be tortured. Just in case, like people. I mean, somebody compared you to Joe Rogan today on Twitter. Okay, like how am I supposed to compete with that?
Yeah, I got to tell you. Let me go off topic for a second. The production values on this show. I'm
on your side of things or mine?
No, I'm unhappy with them so far. Like because they told me before the show that our promo codes were Murray and KIV23, and now they're all blasting us in this chat saying, "Hey, it's Murray 23, not Murray." Well, you guys are the ones that told me it was Murray. So it's
7 seconds later, Murray.
No, it's not. It's not 7 seconds later. It's like 20 minutes later.
So 20 minutes later, you're right.
It's Murray 23, and it's KIV23. Let's go to the NFL.
Okay, I got a lot. Divisional dogs. I might as well have just played all of them.
Let's talk about the Thursday night game first, though, because that game. Kelly's got half of the fantasy lineup in that game.
I don't want to either. God.
The betting's been pretty interesting. Yesterday it came out. Travis Kelce got hurt in practice. Sharp guys took Lions +6. We got all the way down to 4.5. Now, I did see this report about 45 minutes ago. Adam Schefter was tweeting that Travis Kelce is questionable. Now, usually in NFL terms, questionable means he's going to play.
Do you think, though, maybe he's just going to be out there as like a decoy? Have you ever twisted your knee?
Probably like 30 years ago.
Yeah, me too. 30 years ago.
I wasn't going up against the Detroit Lions defense the next day, but go ahead.
There's like different sorts of injections, PPRs and painkillers and things like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see them usher him out there in some form or fashion.
Would you risk that, though? Would you risk him getting a more serious injury for a week 1 game, a non-conference
but he's not going to get tackled if they never throw him the ball and he's just a decoy.
But this game doesn't really mean much to Kansas City in the grand scheme of things. Their whole season is based on whether or not they win the Super Bowl. This game means a lot more to the Lions than it does the Chiefs.
That's fair.
So we'll see. But questionable usually means that the guy's going to play.
Yeah.
So that's a key thing to look at as we look ahead to Thursday. Chris Jones holding out for Kansas City, their best defensive player. That's another thing to keep an eye on. Sunday, I'll start with this game because we've been monitoring Joe Burrow all August. I think he got hurt in the first preseason game, calf injury. Everything's with fantasy with you. What is this? Nobody cares, but no one cares about other people's fantasy teams. They don't.
Fair enough.
Do they? I don't.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
Closely monitoring Burrow's calf injury. They're saying he's good to go. We'll keep a very close eye on that. They play at the Browns.
Start Jared Goff or
no? I'm not saying that. Although I do like Jared Goff. Wait, so you got all these lines and Goff is on your bench? Now you got.
Well, I have Joe Burrow as my starting quarterback. What do you want from me?
Minnesota is hosting Tampa Bay also Sunday. Now you love Kirk Cousins. Is this correct?
I do love Kirk Cousins.
I know you do.
I tried to draft him and I got vetoed by the other 3 guys. So I love.
We got to put in I'm putting in a rule on next week's show. No talk of Kelly's fantasy teams. Nobody gives a shit.
But it's big money. It's way more money than bets. That's the only reason why I care. Otherwise, why would I care?
what do you think about these games? Are you going to give me any betting tidbits on any of the games, or just talk about your fantasy players?
No, I've got lots to talk about with divisional dogs. You haven't brought up a single game that I bet on yet.
All right, I'm going to run through the other games quickly, what we're seeing. 49ers.
Wait, go back to the Vikings, because I might use them in Survivor.
Well, I know. I put in the rundown. Kelly loves Kirk Cousins. It's clouding her judgment for Survivor. I don't like using the Vikings in Survivor. I've used them in the past in Survivor pools. Every time it's the same thing. The Vikings are up like 23-10, and I look away because I'm doing other stuff, and then I look back, and now there's 45 seconds left, and they're somehow losing. And then they have to have like a long last second field goal to win.
That sounds about right. They had 11 of those last year. 11.
They're a stressful team, man. I mean, because you and I have
our. That's why we just got to use them and get them out of the way.
So you want me and you to use the Vikings in our entry, Kelly and Murray on week 1. Is that correct?
Okay, here's my problem. The obvious answer is to use the Ravens, right? They're a 10-point favorite. They're at home. We know Harbaugh doesn't have these like slow starts. But then why would you want to burn one of your best teams? Just like all these people saying, oh, use Kansas City on Thursday in case they lose, then re-up. I understand that strategy. I just would rather save some of these teams for later on in the season. Like
I did that strategy 2 years ago. I had Tampa Bay in the opening Thursday game against Dallas.
Okay.
And it was life or death. And I was so annoyed with myself that I was going to have to go back over there and sign up again the next day. Tampa Bay did win that game. I very much regretted that decision.
That's
I wouldn't.
So
I'm not going to.
Washington football team Commanders, like they will probably like that. Okay, the Cardinals are supposed to be so bad, right? They're supposed to just be completely decimated. They cut Colt McCoy. Kyler Murray's not playing. Like there are other still NFL players on that team that want to win that game, that are in contract years, that want to be traded. That this is where it's really hard for me this week.
Well, I think, we're going to talk about this over the next 3 days, but right now
we're going to fight about it over the next 3 days.
Of course, we love talking to one another. Right now, I'm leaning more towards using Baltimore and hoping that the Redskins lose, because I think more than half the field is going to use it. I think more than half the field is going to use the Redskins, and I mean, you say Baltimore as if they're one of the elite teams in the league. Baltimore's a good team, but they've got a very tough schedule.
I think they're very elite. Thank you.
I wouldn't call them
18-1 at Superbook Sports. You can still bet it up until when? Right before kickoff Sunday morning, using promo code KIV23.
If you look at their schedule, that division's so tough. I mean, how many times are you really going to miss the Ravens? I don't know. Now, if you're Kelly and you think they're one of the best teams in the NFL, well, then it's a different conversation. I don't know.
Well, if you look at the lovely grid that Superbook unit put together to start the season, and I asked him to update it, but he's been too busy adding production value to my NFL season win total videos. If you look at it, that's the biggest favorite the Ravens are going to be all year.
Okay. Well, then that would be the right time to use them.
They'll be 7-point favorites to the Rams, if not more. There's a couple other spots, right?
But then you're arguing for
using them. Right, but then you're never going to use Washington football team, and you're probably never going to use the Vikings. So you only get 18 weeks out of 32 teams.
Sure. No, that's a fair point. No,
we're never going to use Arizona.
That's why I don't think we're going to use Arizona. The pros versus Joes game for the week is definitely this game. 49ers at the Steelers. The public is all over the 49ers. Very popular play, but that line is going the other way. We're down to 49ers 2. I've seen some books get to 49ers 1.5. When Pittsburgh was +3, -110, that was a very sharp side. That number is gone. I don't think it's going to reappear in time for Sunday. Pittsburgh will be a very popular teaser play.
Absolutely, very popular teaser play. I played them plus. No, I did not play them +2.5. I lied. I played them only in a teaser with the Jets.
Packers Bears is probably the big game on Sunday afternoon. So this number's come down quite a bit. Chicago's now a 1-point favorite. Seeing really sharp money on the under in this game. We're down to 42.5 on the total. Some sharp players going under there. I think it's really maybe the most compelling game of week 1. What does Green Bay's offense look like with Jordan Love replacing Aaron Rodgers? The Bears, the worst record in the NFL last season, but a lot of people seem to like him and be optimistic about him this year.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
What am I missing?
That division's pretty wide open though, because I don't really trust Minnesota. We'll see what happens there, but I think that's a pretty compelling game. The sharps on the under. This is maybe the most attractive aesthetically game of the afternoon. Miami at the Chargers. So these are two teams. They both lost in the first round of the playoffs last year. They both have young quarterbacks. What do you think of these two QBs? And what do you think of these coaches? Because I don't like the Chargers coach. You know that.
No, I don't like Brandon Staley at all. Yeah, I think Mike is great. Can Tua stay healthy? Yeah, of course it's week 1, so you're good. But I actually like the Dolphins to win the AFC East. I bet them plus 275 at Superbook Sports if you watched my preview video. But I also bet the Vikings plus 275 at Superbook Sports using promo code KIV23.
No, see that you wedged that in. That's bullshit. You didn't use the promo code.
I wedged it in like 4 times.
They just told us about the promo code like 20 minutes ago. You didn't use the promo code when you made that bet. Nope, that's bullshit. Sunday night football, NFC East matchup, Cowboys and the Giants. Now you touched on this. You have some division home dogs you like. Are the New York Giants one of those teams?
Just divisional dogs, 64, 44, and 2 against the spread. Our good friend and friend of the show, Todd Furman, tweeted out something about the home dogs. Got text to me. I've been too busy to look at it. I like the Giants plus 3.5. I think this is a really good spot for them. I like Brian Dable. Okay, we're looking at just like we got to give the nod to Brian Dable over Mike McCarthy. Quarterback nod, I'll give it to Dak. Listen, this is a divisional game. We know this is one of the toughest divisions in all of football. These lines always seem to be the same, whether it's Washington football commies at home, Commanders or at Dallas, or whoever. The line's always like 3, 3.5, 2.5. Even it's always just seems to be the same.
Public and the sharps on Dallas with us, so that's why you've seen this line push through 3. We've got Dallas minus 3.5 right now at the Superbook Monday night. Now, here's my question about the Monday night game. There's so many games this week. When we get to Monday night, are you still going to be paying attention to the NFL? I mean,
yeah, I have the Jets in a teaser. And I also have the Jets under 9.5 wins. So, like, perfect world, I would love for it to be like 28-27.
Yeah.
Or, 21-20.
I don't really have anything to report on in that game.
14-13.
I understand. But NFL games don't land on 1, so those are not possible scores. I don't really have anything to report on that game in terms of sharp action. Are there any games I missed that you like? What you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, you didn't talk about like the grossest dog on the board this week. That is my best bet.
Your best bet. Now your NFL bets are usually pretty good.
Yeah, and that's just full disclosure. So when I say I played these, so like remember I like to play stale numbers in some of my like friend leagues, right? Where you pick 5, and I'm not doing the 7-pick league this year. Drummer, did you see that tweet? This is a good learning.
It's called X. It's called X now.
So I'm Xing, not tweeting.
Did I see that X?
Okay, anyway, so here's the thing. I tweeted last year at the end of the season, the difference between my 7-pick league and my 5-pick league. And it was like, one was like 50.6%. The other one was like 57.9%. Complete. Those extra 2 games a week were terrible. So this is a good lesson on discipline.
Do you think people, and I don't want you to get mad at me because I care about you very much. Do you think people care about your fantasy teams and your like weirdo leagues that you're in?
No, but what I'm saying is like it's week 1. I'm betting with my money, my hard-earned money, 1 game. Yes, I have to play 5 in the lovely Superbook Westgate Super Contest, right? I have to pick 5 games. I'm not betting all 5 of those. So are you going to give me a 3.5? Are the lines out yet there? Do I get a 3.5 on the Giants?
We're putting them out this afternoon.
Okay.
It is, unless something changed while we're recording the show, it will be Dallas minus 3.5 because we have been talking about them.
That's great. So I will use them in my contest pick, but I highly, highly doubt I get to the window with anybody else other than Indianapolis plus 5.
So I want to talk about a couple of things. Number one, you're full of shit. There's no way that's going to be the only game.
A bunch of teasers. I bet teasers like weeks ago.
And that's going to be the only game you bet.
Okay, last year I was like 13-5 or something in my best bets, or 12-6. I don't remember, but it's
you're
always
good at
my
those.
NFL best bets have always been really good. And you know what I do? I win on Saturday and I give it back on Sunday, and I'm done doing that. It's stupid. I mean, I pay $500 for this league. I pay $1,000 to join the super contest. I am in a couple survivor leagues. Like, why do I need to be betting nickels and dimes on referees and kickers?
I don't know, but you do, because that's who you are.
No,
but that's who you are.
We're allowed to change. Okay, we're allowed to adapt.
Yeah,
we're allowed to grow.
Can I have my guys? Can I have my team, my Superbook risk team, my loyal soldiers like Andrew Babakidis? Can I have him do a boost on the Colts for you?
Please, Mother of God, no. Why would you do that?
What? No?
Did you see a very prominent book on the East Coast put out Clemson -7.5 and over like some ridiculous number? Just got eviscerated. Like it wasn't even close. No, boosts are bad luck. Bad luck. I don't want him. No.
So no Kelly boost. All right, that's fine.
You got a boost on Cleveland. There you go. Boost Cleveland.
Cleveland. Why would I do that? That's not your pick.
I don't know.
Cleveland boost. Okay. I mean,
I'm just saying any other team that I have not involved in. How about
we do have a sports book in Ohio.
There you go. You can
so
boost
I guess we could do that, I
Bengals.
suppose. But they're playing the other Ohio team.
That's perfect. So then you
That's
get money on both
That's a
sides
bad
using
idea.
promo code KIV23. Ohio. Did you hear that?
Code, yeah.
Yes.
You're really stressing the so the deadline for the super
win.
contest is what?
Because I'm very
we don't even have terms of the bet. You care about winning our bet?
I don't care. I only care about winning. That's all I care about in life is winning. I don't care about anything else. That's it.
The deadline for the super contest is this Saturday.
What,
Kelly, you've already signed up for that. You're ready to go.
What is it? 11 a.m.? 11 a.m. Right? I used to know that back in the day.
Well, it's changed. I think it's 2 p.m. now.
2 p.m. Okay.
But why would anybody wait? I never understand the people that come in and sign up at like 1:55 p.m. and it's like, are you serious? You've had since July to do this.
Yeah.
Don't wait until the end. It's Saturday.
Yeah, they do though. That's exactly what they do.
Let's talk about.
That just shows me what type of people they're going to be throughout the season. They're probably going to be the ones that call and say, "I didn't know my picks were due by X time," and you're going to say, "So sorry."
We don't have. Yeah, we got no patience for that. That's a firm deadline. No exceptions. Do you have the X questions in front of you, or do you want me to read them?
I better read them since they're all for you to answer.
Do we have Are we present on any other social media? Like, do we have a Threads?
I
don't know.
Is Threads still a thing?
I don't know. I never had one, but I noticed that
the only reason why I have a Threads is because everybody else was doing it, and all I had to do was click on Instagram, and it took like 13 seconds. But apparently now I can't delete my Threads, otherwise it deletes my Instagram. So like Zuck was like way on that one and really smart about it. So now I just have to have a Threads. But now at least nobody can use my name. That's what I was more concerned with. I didn't want, like there's already all of these fake Kelly in Vegas accounts all over the place. Like the last thing I need is a fake Threads account.
There's fake Kelly in Vegas accounts?
I don't want to get into it. And then my favorite is they have like 17 followers and people are like, is this you? No, I just took my 25,000 follower account and just decided I better start all over from scratch. Like it's the dumbest question people ever ask me.
Well, we get all these questions from X. You want to
Yes. Yeah. Eliminator with a 0.
So you skipped the first one though.
Yeah, because we already talked about it. So
okay.
Okay, that's fine. Brian Mallory PGA. We'll see CU versus Nebraska be the biggest pros versus Joe's game of the week.
It might be in college. I mean, it looks like there's more in the NFL that'll be bigger than that, especially San Francisco, Pittsburgh. Okay. We'll see. I so far not yet. No.
Actually, our producer just put in the chat. Unfortunately, we do have Threads.
Why is that unfortunate?
I don't know. All right. Eliminator 85 says, how bad was the Inter Miami win in LA for the books on Sunday night?
I don't know. Can I tell you on Sunday, I played golf with some friends of yours, and then I went home and I fell asleep. Yeah. You don't consider Adam Hill a friend?
Oh, I love Adam Hill.
And then I went home and I fell asleep on the couch.
Wonder why. Anyway,
couldn't have been that bad because I don't know anything about it. No, it was no. We actually do get decent right on the Inter Miami games. I'm sure we lost.
Okay. At Maddie H _82. Are NFL player prop markets growing in Vegas? What type of limits are set on them, and how do you expect the market to grow?
I think more so as the books in Nevada improve their software offerings, and they can offer more and more player props. You know, we're going to be expanding our prop menu in Nevada probably next season to match what we have in the other states. I do think that they are a growing market, very much dominated by the sharps. So you want to keep your limits a little on the lower side, more like a $500 limit, $1,000
So you're
limit.
saying like Ariel Epstein is like super sharp then, because that's what she bets in the NFL.
Ariel Epstein from MLB Network?
Yes.
Yes.
How come you didn't mention her other job?
Where is she?
I'm kidding. It's a competitor.
She's at Fanatics. I can't keep the kid's got a lot of jobs. I can't keep track of everything.
Is it called Fanatics already?
I believe it is now a Fanatics.
Maybe they'll give me a job. What do you think? Should I go work with her? Could you imagine me living in New York City? Next question.
No, I can't.
Wise Guy Wager on X. After all the outstanding performances this past weekend in the NCAA, which teams or players do you feel like really underperformed? Have a great week. Kelly in Vegas, Vegas Murray. Looking forward to hearing your answers. Best wishes.
Clemson. Clemson was a train wreck on Monday night. I expect LSU to bounce back. I mean, that game got away from them at the end, but it's not like Florida State was blowing them out the whole way. The game got away from them in the second half. I still think Brian Kelly is a great coach. I'll be surprised if LSU doesn't right the ship. I don't think that losing to Florida State on a neutral field is really that bad of a loss.
Okay. Man, the 3 Dan instead of an E. Troy graduate.
Man, that's TH3 Dan.
Man, 3 Dan. No. Troy here. I want to know how worried / nervous Kelly is about this weekend. Listen, K-State messed around and lost to a Sun Belt team before. They sure have. Have they historically performed really bad in week 2? Yep, absolutely. 16.5, 17 is last I looked when I opened up the Superbook app. Look, K-State looked pretty good last weekend, right? There was 3 different touchdowns scored by Will Howard, a receiving, a passing, and a rushing, which is not something you usually hear about from a quarterback. They have a nice 2-back set. Trayshawn Ward, transfer from Florida State, looks great. Giddens looks great, which is who we expected to be Deuce's replacement. So to have 2 very capable running backs is awesome. Kobe Savage back on defense, great offensive line. DJ Green on defense. There's a couple of guys that I really liked how Chris Kleiman really started rotating all those guys through. Does that mean that they're going to win by 21 over Troy? Troy looks pretty good. Can Troy stop the run? That's my big caveat. If Troy can stop the run, this could be a 14-point.
Your answer was so long that the answer is yes, she's nervous. Man,
I'm not nervous.
Dan.
Whoa. I was nervous for Tulane.
A minute and a half to answer the kid's question.
First of all, I was nervous versus Tulane because that line opened up 14.5 and got like bet down to 11. That made me nervous. This opened like 16.5, dropped to 15.5, and now is up to 17. No, I'm not that nervous. I like to think, I think Will Howard's a better quarterback than Adrian Martinez is. I also think that the offense, and especially the offensive line, is a lot more improved. I like what Colin Klein showed me. There's a couple things I was like, really, are we wasting this play against Southeast Missouri? But that's okay. All right, at Coach Cook 31. Is the public becoming sharp? The people want to know.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think that there's more people that are attempting to learn, but there's still so many people that just randomly throw stuff together. There's a certain demographic of people is getting sharper and learning more, but I don't know. There's still so many people that don't do their homework.
Yeah, but it doesn't even matter. Did you see how many really sharp guys got like a bazillion CLV trophies last week that didn't even matter? Does being
I don't know.
sharp
Like,
even matter?
Where do you see who got CLV? Is this on X?
Yeah.
See, I don't pay any attention to stuff like that. I don't care.
Well, of course you don't care.
So you're
as long
saying
as they don't bet it at Superbook, why would you care?
You're saying people on X were Xing about how they had a good number and then they lost?
Yeah.
Oh, see,
I included. I was Xing about my good number. All right,
Yeah,
I'm not answering this
I'm gonna
last
mute your
question
X.
because I don't know why the unit put it in here, but I have another show to do in 7 minutes.
Okay.
What else you got?
Why don't you like this kid's question about NFL power ratings?
I don't know. I just figured we'd save it for next week.
Okay.
You want to talk about it?
do?
Okay. Answer the question. You already brought it up. Now I look like a dick not using it.
James Camu on X
Camus
says Camus. He says, how do you equip power ratings into the point spread? Ed Salmons, he's sort of the NFL czar at Superbook. He loves the NFL. He's like Kelly. He's got a set
like
of
the
NFL.
alcohol czar?
Yeah, like the alcohol czar.
My mom's very worried about the alcohol czar, by the way. She keeps texting me.
The chief concern.
I was like, don't worry, Mom. I know how to make moonshine. We'll be fine. I learned from John Murray's people.
West Virginia. That's where I went to school. Ed's got his NFL power ratings, and he builds that in. We're the first book to put up what we call the 12-day line. That's every Tuesday for the following week's NFL games. We try to be one of the first books up on Sunday nights for the next week. And a lot of that's from Ed Salmons, Jeff Sherman. They have NFL power ratings they put into this point spread because they love Kelly's League. And speaking of Kelly's League, I want to circle back to Survivor. Are you going to be mad at me if we lose on Sunday? I mean, seriously.
If we take the Ravens and lose, then by God, there's nothing we can do. If the Ravens lose outright to the Houston Texans, the last time I picked the Ravens in Survivor as double-digit favorites, they lost outright week 15, and what was I supposed to do?
What game was that?
I don't remember. It was like 3 years ago. Johnny Detroit and I had. It was
if you did such a good job that you got to week 15 and still had a double-digit favorite to use, what else can you do?
That's what I mean. So if they lose as a double-digit favorite, I might as well kiss my 18-1 Super Bowl ticket goodbye too.
And you got that ticket at Superbook Sports, and you can make the same bet at Superbook Sports by signing up for a Superbook mobile account. Use the promo code Murray23 and make sure that I get more signups than Kelly because I want to win whatever the prize is. Kelly, you got to go to another show?
All these people that have been asking me to start an OnlyFans, I'm just going to start an OnlyFans and say KIV23.
You had to get in an OnlyFans comment to end the show. Kelly's not getting an OnlyFans. I don't know
why people think at my age I'm going to start an OnlyFans now. I have been way poorer in life. If there was only an OnlyFans when I was like 23 years old, life might have been a little bit different. But at this juncture in my life, I don't think an OnlyFans is in my future.
So this is a good thing for me to look at in the future. We can't go past the 42-minute mark because at 42 minutes, Kelly goes completely off the rails and starts talking about OnlyFans and what she wishes she had done.
Well, the show's only supposed to be 35 minutes. So
this is what you wish you had done on the internet when you were 23 years old. Is that correct?
I'm kidding. I have a great relationship with my dad. I would have never done that to him.
I like Jon Stewart quite a bit. Let's hope for a good week 1. We'll still be alive in Survivor for week 2. Don't worry about that. And we'll talk next week.
I hope you didn't mush us.
I didn't.
You probably did.